Live. Welcome to another edition of the James Nolan podcast. I got my shades on today because it's the solar eclipse. And yeah, I guess safety first. So here we go. We got a lot to talk about today. New York Mets, New York Yankees. You see it in the title. Polar opposite starts. Yankees 8-2, Mets 3-6. So we're gonna obviously be talking a lot of baseball today. And they're kind of in similar situations, not obviously win-loss record-wise, but a few players like Anthony Volpe, Francisco Alvarez, two guys who, you know, both fan bases have a lot of hope to become stars. Well, both of them are having very good starts to the season. We're going to be talking about that today. Jets, I got the hoodie on. Hassan Reddick, welcome to the Jets. We're going to be talking about that later. This defense is ridiculous. Why is Zach Wilson still on the team? Going to be talking about that too. Giants, are they done with Daniel Jones? Yes or no? Who knows? We're going to be talking about that later. Who are they going to draft? Because let's be real, they're going to draft a quarterback. So we're going to be talking about who they're going to draft. Probably JJ McCarthy. Let's be real. But we're going to be talking him later. Jaden Daniels. We're going to be talking a lot of football today too as well. And then, of course, the New York Knicks, 4 seed. Finally, we're climbing back up on that playoff ladder. 4 games remain. Bucks, Bulls twice, and the Nets. They need this. They need to go I think if they go 3-1, they have a shot at the 2 seed. Considering the Bucks, they got the Celtics on their schedule. They got the Magic twice out of their 4 remaining games. So if they lose three or one, if they go 1-3 or 2-2, and we go 3-1, we can take that 2 seed from them. And the Magic, of course, they win two. They would have to go 2-2 as well, I believe, too. So Knicks need to go 3-1 or win out to get the 2 seed. So we'll see if they can do that. We're going to talk about that. And Dante DiVincenzo, who scored 26 last night against the Bucks, and Jalen Brunson, another terrific performance, and they beat Damian Lillard and Giannis, the current 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. So we're going to be talking a lot of Knicks today too. OG Anunoby's back. He hasn't really been too effective on the offensive end, but defensively, he's just phenomenal. So no Julius Randle, but it's OG, Jalen Brunson, and Dante DiVincenzo, who's been scoring 21 points per game in his last 30. So we're going to be talking about that too. Can he be a consistent second scoring options when the playoffs come around? All right, let's get into it. New York Mets 3-6. We're going to start the show off with the Mets. They're visiting the Braves starting tonight for a 4-game series. And when I was coming into the season in spring training, the biggest thing that I was worried about was the pitching. The lineup I thought was going to be actually pretty good. I think when you consider Francisco Lindor, a silver slugger shortstop, you got Pete Alonso, who hits like 45 runs every single year, it feels like. Brandon Nimmo, who usually gets on base at a ridiculous rate, except for the first 9 games of the season so far. Jeff McNeil playing like Jeff McFeeble. So yeah, the Mets offense is struggling, and it's actually the pitching. The Mets pitching has not been bad so far. They're actually the 5th best rotation right now in the MLB. They got a 2.71 ERA. Sean Manaea, fantastic so far through his first 2 starts. Brought a no-hitter into like the 6th inning in his first start. And then this past start yesterday, the Mets, they get the win. He's 1-0 now. Only 3 hits through 5 innings. Only 1 earned run allowed. 6 Ks. Sean Manaea, I think that's a very underrated signing. Just like, the Knicks, they got Dante DiVincenzo. That's an underrated signing. Sean Manaea and the Mets, I think, is a very similar thing. Both veterans, both kind of last season towards the tail end, they were showing that maybe they could be something, maybe not like a superstar, but they could be something. Take a risk on it. Who knows? Let's see what happens. And the Mets and David Stearns, they took a risk on Manaea. It's a great contract, in my opinion, short term. That's what the Mets want to do this year, short term contracts. Let's see who can stay for next year when we get the prospects to all come up. And Manaea, so far, through his first 2 starts, he's looked even better than he did last year. And last year, let's go over right now, his last 20 appearances. Sean Manaea's last 20 appearances, 3.07 ERA, 5-3 record. That's pretty good. That's really good. Left-hander, cut the hair, who knows what it is, but Manaea has maybe found his niche in the league. Maybe he knows what he's got a strikeout pitch now. Slider looks good. Curve looks good. Changeup has always been good. He was touching 95, 96 yesterday. I think the Mets got a seal with Sean Manaea. We'll see how it goes in his next start, but overall, the pitching hasn't been bad. It just hasn't. And that's surprising to me. Luis Severino, even he had a pretty good game in his last start. Um, let's go over his numbers right now. But Severino in his first start, I think every Mets fan, every Yankees fan, every baseball fan was like, this guy's going to be out of the league if he has another start like that. But he bounces back in his last start, 5 innings, only 3 hits allowed, lets up 2 runs, only 1 was earned, though. 2 walks, 7 Ks. So Severino actually had a pretty good start. Yet again, it is against the Cincinnati Reds, who, I mean, they're 5-4 this year. They have a pretty good lineup. So you got to give him some credit there, too. But his first start obviously was terrible. But he did have a good spring training. That first start, 12 hits allowed, 5 innings. That was rough. That's last year's Severino. But in his last start against Cincinnati, we got maybe the Severino that the Mets want. That's what the Mets paid for. They don't expect, I don't think any Mets fan expects Severino to be a Cy Young candidate like he was with the Yankees. I don't think anybody expects him to become the ace of the staff. But if he can go out there and pitch 5 innings, let up 3 hits, I think every fan will say yes. Now, he needs to be consistent. This can't be up and down, up and down, up and down. But let's see what Severino can do all year. I think if he can be better than Cookie Carrasco was for us, because let's be real, Carlos Carrasco was actually pretty good in 2022 when the Mets won 100 games. Last year, he sucked. Let's be real. Carrasco sucked. So we actually lost. Like in 2022, we had really good pitching. We had Chris Bassett. We had DeGrom, obviously, in the second half of the year. We had Scherzer, who was pretty phenomenal. And he had the best ERA of his entire career. As much as I hate Scherzer, I mean, he had a good year. So in 2022, what did the Mets bank on? Their rotation. 2023, they had Kodai Senga, and that's it. That's it. Jose Quintana at the tail end. Verlander and Scherzer, they had slow starts. Verlander kind of figured it out. Scherzer sucked with us all last year. So our rotation fell apart last year. When the 2015, perfect example. Eddie Presti says it all the time of Brew Crew Sports. He says it all the time. Mets, when their pitching is good, the Mets are good. And this year, if the pitching holds up, I think the Mets will be fine. I think they could sneak into the playoffs. And Severino, I'm not expecting him to be a superstar. But Carlos Carrasco in 2022, he had a sub-4 ERA. He started over 30 games. I think if Severino does just 25 starts, maybe even 23 plus, he gives us a sub-4 ERA. I think we'll all take that. So Severino can have a comeback. Now, listen, if he turns back into what he was with the Yankees, obviously I take that. I don't expect that, though. But what he did in his last start against Cincinnati, only 3 hits. That's the Severino that we saw in spring training. That's the Severino, not necessarily we saw when he was with the Yankees in his prime, but listen, he's only 30 years old? Let's see. Yeah, 30 years old. He's not like 37. He's not 38. Yes. Has he been injury prone? Yes. But we see 30-year-olds come back from significant injuries and still pitch 140 plus innings, I guess, is now the new 200 innings a few years ago, it feels like, because starters just don't go deep into games anymore. At least the Mets starters don't. Unless you're Sean Manaea, maybe you'll go 6 innings. But yeah, I like what I saw out of Severino. I love what I saw out of Sean Manaea. Jose Quintana ain't too shabby either. He's kind of off to a good start too. Adrian Hauser, another guy who, wasn't a risk. It wasn't a risky signing. Like, David Stearns is going to look like a genius if this pitching holds up. He really will. Let's go over Adrian Hauser's stats. In his first start, 5 innings, 6 Ks for, where is this? He's got 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 innings. So Adrian Hauser, Severino, Sean Manaea, Jose Quintana, even Tyler McGill, they've all had good starts. So if this pitching holds up, I don't know how long Kodai Senga is going to be out. I think it's a few months now. But the pitching, if it holds up, I think the offense will come around. because I'm going to talk about the offense right now. I don't think it's going to continue for much longer. I mean, we saw Lindor hit the home run the other night. I think once Lindor, he's in a slump, and it's 9 games into the season. Do we really think Lindor is going to hit like under 200 all year, guys? Come on, let's be realistic. Everybody taking shots at Lindor is stupid, and I'm a very critical fan. I'm going to criticize Lindor. I'm going to criticize Nimmo. I'm going to criticize Pete Alonso in this podcast. I'm going to criticize them. But at the end of the day, they're all going to pick it up. And if the pitching holds up, we're going to be fine. Let's be real. 3-6, listen, 1-6 sucks. 2 that would suck, yes. But we're 3-6. 9 games into the season. The pitching has been fantastic. Edwin Diaz he has 5 innings under his belt. He's got 7 Ks. Hasn't let up an earned run. Sean Manaea, I mean, this guy's pitching great. Left-hander, too. I mean, when was the last time the Mets had a reliable lefty? Really? When was the last time the Mets had a reliable lefty? Jose Quintana last year at the tail end? I think Manaea is somebody who can actually turn out to be a surprising top pitcher in the rotation, maybe. I mean, look at it. His last 20 games right there. Right on the screen. 5-3, 3.07 ERA. It's not I don't think we should be shocked by Sean Manaea's start. I think David Stern did a fantastic job with the rotation. And I think this offense, considering we got 2 guys with Francisco Alvarez and Brett Beatty, maybe being factors this year, I mean, that would be awesome. And I think they can continue that. I don't think they're going to continue to hit over 400 like they were a few games ago. But, I think they're going to be maybe 310 to 280 to 310. That'd be a pretty good combined batting average out of the 2 second-year guys. But do we really expect this to continue right here? Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Brandon Nimmo with a combined 126 batting average to start the year. Now, is that a terrible stat? Yes. Do they all 3 of them, do they need to step it up? Yes. They're the 3 highest paid offensive players on the Mets. Of course they need to step up. But then again, we're 9 games into the season. Francisco Lindor, what did he do last year? 30-30. What did Pete Alonso do last year? Over 47 home runs. Brandon Nimmo hit 24, career high. And he still hit over 270. All of them had OPSs of over 800. These guys are going to be fine. And if these guys played, I hate saying this term, but if they play to the back of their baseball card, but it's true. We're 9 games into the year, they're all gonna rise up their numbers. But if they do play like themselves and the pitching isn't a joke, this is going to be a playoff team. And we're also missing a guy named JD Martinez who hit 33 home runs, 103 RBIs with a 271 batting average last year. 3 consecutive All-Star appearances. So I expect the Mets to make the playoffs, even with a horrendous start. It is a horrendous start. 3-6 is not good, especially when we're going into a 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves. Hopefully we can go 2-2. That's what I got my fingers crossed that we can go 2-2. I think the Mets could go 2-2. Who do we got on the mound tonight? Let's take a look. We got Julio Teheran, man. Oh, his first start. At least he had a spring training, so that's good. So it's not like JD Martinez who missed out on spring training. Julio Teheran, he did have a spring training. He was a Met killer. I mean, he was a Met killer. Last year, 4.4 ERA, 71 innings in 11 starts. Yeah, his last good year was really with the Braves. When he was with Atlanta, like I said, he was a Met killer. 3.2 ERA in 2013, 2014, 2.89. 2015, he sucked, 4.04. The Mets probably beat him up. That's when we, went to the World Series. So if he can pitch like he pitched against the Mets for us, then I'd love it. I don't think Teheran's going to go anything more than 5 innings tonight, though. But the Mets bullpen hasn't there. Now, there's been terrible guys in it. I cannot lie there. Yohan Ramirez, I hope he can get cut if he has another terrible performance. 11.81 ERA already. Jesus. But Edwin Diaz, this guy's back. And I do want to talk about that for a second. Where is it? Edwin Diaz so far, 5 innings. The 0 ERA, 8 Ks in 5 games and 5 innings. He's back. And across his last 60 appearances, 1.02 ERA, 114 Ks. This guy is on another level. He is on another level compared to every other reliever in baseball. I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day. We're like, who's must see on the Mets? I'm like, Edwin Diaz is must see on the Mets. How? He's a closer. Dude, he's must see. The last closer that put up these type of numbers was Mariano Rivera. And I know it's crazy to compare the two because Mariano Rivera is obviously the best closer of all time. He's on another level compared to everybody else. But Diaz is making a case for being compared to Mariano Rivera. 60 games is a long stretch. And based off his first 5 appearances this year, he has not missed a beat. That injury, it looks like it's going to be like not affecting him right now. Coming off a whole entire missed season, he looks even better than he did in 2022. He wasn't even trying the other night. Like, he literally pitched back-to-back games, dude, and he was pitching maybe like 75%, pinpoint accuracy, 95, 96, nasty slider, taking it off a little bit. Like, I feel like Edwin Diaz is now not just this power pitcher, this dominant pitcher because of his stuff. Now he's got now he's a veteran. Now he knows what gets the job done. He knows when to take off, when to turn it on. If we get that Edwin Diaz this year, maybe the best has yet to come for this guy. Who knows? Who knows? But so far, this year's Edwin Diaz has looked better than before. Pinpoint accuracy. What has been every year that really only 2 seasons, Edwin Diaz has kind of had a bad year. His first year with the Mets, terrible. What was it because? Walks. Walks. So far this season, no. It's not a problem for him. I think Edwin Diaz will cement himself as the best closer in baseball once again this season. And then again, he was our MVP in 2022. What did we not have all last year? Edwin Diaz. And what did we not do without him? We didn't finish ball games. Our bullpen blew it constantly. So, yeah. Yes. He was another must-see reliever, but Edwin Diaz is on another level. On another level. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes with a sub-1 ERA this year. But let's bounce off the pitching. The pitching has been great. I'll say that. And then let's finish it up with some offense. We'll jump into some Yankees topics. I do want to talk a little bit more about this Francisco Alvarez and Brett Baty situation. The 3 other guys I mentioned, Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo, they have obviously all sucked so far, but they're going to be fine. They're going to step it up. We just saw Lindor hit his first home run the other day. And, sometimes you just need that, we see it all the time in baseball. I mean, Pete Alonso, he got off to a great start through his first 5 games, and now he's batting sub 200. So, we're 9 games in. Those 3 guys will be fine. But what I really love is Francisco Alvarez and Brett Baty. Off to great starts. Let's go over Alvarez first. Now, if I'm taking one of these guys to continue what they've been doing, it's probably going to be Francisco Alvarez. I think that batting average will take a little bit of a dip into the 260, 290 range. But, I mean, if he hits above 300, I wouldn't be necessarily shocked. I'd be like, whoa, but I wouldn't be shocked because he's got that in him. You look at his minor league stats. He was once the number 1 prospect in baseball before getting called up. He's a beast. 333 batting average, 935 OPS, only 1 home run, but 4 RBIs. He is also a great start. I mean, we see him hitting cleanup now with the Mets. Let's see if their lineup was posted tonight. Lineup's not yet available. Check back soon. Let's check Anthony DeComo's Twitter real quick. Did he beat the score? Let's see. Come on. He always beats the score. DeComo hasn't posted the lineup either. Jesus. All right. I mean, Francisco Alvarez, I think the cleanup spot is the best for him even when JD Martinez comes back. I think he's got the potential to become the best hitter in this lineup. He's got pop. There's no other better way to put it. And Brett Baty, 290 batting average, 740 OPS so far, 5 RBIs. I mean, with runners in scoring position, he's been great. He's off to a great start. And the defense, too. I mean, we saw him practicing with Francisco Lindor over the offseason, and it's clear that worked because his defense has been much better than it was last year. I mean, we saw the guy dropping pop flies last year. Brett Beatty has turned things around. He seems locked in. And if he can do this consistently, if he can do these numbers consistently, that's exactly what the Mets want. He doesn't need to be a 30 home run guy. He doesn't need to be a 300 plus guy. A 280 plus batting average, give us a 740 OPS. That's good. That's really good out of Brett Beatty, especially a second-year player. Now, like I said before, who do I expect out of these two guys? If I had to take one to continue what they've been doing, it's definitely Francisco Alvarez. And that's not a knock on Brett Beatty, but it's just Francisco Alvarez is a beast. And we've seen him. I mean, he hit 25 home runs last year in his rookie year at 20 years old. He's a beast. Brett Beatty, on the other hand, we've all known he's had potential, but last year he just didn't translate the minor league stuff to the major leagues. He just didn't. But sometimes it takes time. Just because you have a bad down rookie year doesn't mean you can't have a breakout second year. I'm not saying this guy's going to break out and be an MVP candidate, but if Brett Beatty can do this consistently on a consistent basis, this Mets team will be in good hands. This Mets team will be just fine, and they will make the playoffs. Because Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo, they're going to step it up. McNeil, I have no clue what we're going to do with him. He's kind of scaring me. I mean, I just don't like his attitude. I feel like maybe after he won that Batten championship, it's kind of, maybe he's working less. I mean, he's gotten the contract. Who knows? But McNeil, I'm not as confident in as Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo to turn it around. But it's nice to see Starlin Marte also doing some things with the Mets so far. So listen, 3-6, we're fine. If we can go 2-2 against the Braves, we'll be just fine. I mean, let's go over our next few opponents besides the Braves. We're going into Kansas City. We're actually hosting them. And they're not too shabby this year either. They're 6-4, third in the AL Central. And then we got the Pirates, and then we got the Dodgers, and hopefully we get Yamamoto in that game and we can just beat him up because, you know, he used us. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to jump into some Yankees talk. So we're going to wrap up this Mets stuff. But, yeah, I really do like what I've seen. My last few takeaways from this first 9 games is obviously not to panic, because I think the 3 guys I was talking about before, Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I'm not too sure about McNeil. But 4-game series at Atlanta. We got to do something. Can't get swept. Can't go 1-3. No. First series of the season against your probably the biggest rival in the last few years. Let's go do it. Pitching's been great. 5th best ERA in all of baseball right now. Only 9 games. But once this offense gets a jolt, they'll be just fine. All right, we're going to take a break on the Mets. We're going to hop into some Yankees, and we're going to take a break. So watch this little clip of why the Jets needed a backup quarterback, why I thought it was going to be Minshew, but it's not. We got Tyrod Taylor, and that's great. We're also going to be talking some Jets later, too. Got the hoodie on. You have to talk some Jets when you got the gear on. Hassan Reddick, love that acquisition. I mean, the Jets offseason has been great. It has been fantastic. Mike Williams, Tyrod Taylor, Hassan Reddick, like I just mentioned, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith, John Simpson. Joe Douglas is putting in the work right now, and we love to see it. All right, taking a break, then some Yankees. But the Jets need a backup quarterback in 2024. Gardner Minshew will be available. Gardner Minshew is the guy that they should get.
Ever thought at 19 I take it that far? My life is like a movie without the caption. That means even in the next scene, I swear to God, you never know what happened. I started rapping, man, before I could talk, and I was running on beats before I knew how to walk. So the next time you see a body that's been lined in some chalk, just know that I was probably there and took it with an assault. So save the salt, I sprinkle pepper each and every letter. You hating pussies couldn't stop me at your get-togethers. I hold my weight, you bitches couldn't even lift a feather. I said it settled like some tea that's all up in the kettle. I'm going platinum like 50 and 03, and with these fights I feel like Floyd, cause I'm 50 and OB, trying to stack it to a B like Beyonce and Hov G, and if you doubt it from the jump, you could swallow and hold me. You ever just feel like no matter what what anybody tell you, you dubbing that shit. Cause you just know you that guy. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm about to levitate. Take a shot for every time you talking shit, and I'll be drunker than a bitch that's going out and getting lit. I'm popping out, so peep the fit. You been a snitch, I plead the fifth. I got an itch, you need a switch. I'm in the rinse, you see the drip. Keep it a buck, I'm really a pop. I wanted a little, but bought it a lot. I got a million, baddie a watch. Just give me a year and I got it unlocked. Yeah, I'm about to slow the beat down. Yeah, bet you never met a cracker that could rap like this. So smooth with the rhyming that they call me the Ritz. On time, perfect timing, you can't call it like this. And if I'm calling it quits, I'ma be balling my fist. Just left them all with your bitch and took her to justice. Cause if she acting like a kid, then she gon' need to fit. And I ain't just throwing one, yeah, but she's throwing one. Only at the strip club is when I'm throwing ones. Like a fourth of a gallon, I got a court case. But I'm coming up short like you in fourth place. And I told my lawyer. Trooping down fathers as I start to write this memoir. Who would have ever thought at 19 I take it that far? My life is like a movie without the caption. That mean even in the next scene, I swear to God, you never know what happened. I started rapping, man, before I could talk. And I was running on beats before I knew how to walk. So the next time you see a body that's been lined in some chalk, just know that I was probably there and took it with an assault. So save the salt, I sprinkle pepper each and every letter. You hating pussies couldn't stop me at your get-togethers. I hold my weight, you bitches couldn't even lift a feather. I say it's settled like some tea that's all up in the kettle. I'm going platinum like 50 and 03. And with these fights, I feel like Floyd, cause I'm 50 and OB. Trying to stack it to a B like Beyonce and Ho G. And if you doubt it from the jump, you could swallow and hold me. You ever just feel like, no matter what anybody tell you, you dubbing that shit. Cause you just know you that guy. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm about to levitate. Take a shot for every time you talking shit, and I'll be drunker than a bitch that's going out and getting lit. I'm popping out, so peep the fit. You been a snitch, I plead the fifth. I got an itch, you need a switch. I'm in the rinse, you see the drip. Keep it a buck, I'm really a pop. I wanted a little, but bought it a lot. I got a million, baddie a watch. Just give me a year and I got it unlocked. Yeah, I'm about to slow the beat.
All right, let's get right back into it. Let's talk some Yankees. Polar opposite starts, like I said before. And the Yankees, they're kind of in a similar situation with some of their younger guys. One of those younger guys who I've loved what I've seen out of him so far, who he's recorded 7 out of 9 hits in each. 7 hits in 9 games. He's recorded hits in 7 out of his 9 games. And 4 of them are multi-hit games. Anthony Volpe is doing great. Anthony Volpe is actually hitting over 400. 424 batting average. Look at that OPS. Look at that OPS. 3 stolen bases already. And a home run. Anthony Volpe is playing like a superstar right now. He's the best hitter on the Yankees right now. And that's with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge in the lineup. Anthony Volpe is playing great. I do not expect him to hit this good all year. But his swing, obviously, everybody's talking about his swing. I'm not going to tell you that I'm some baseball expert and tell you how great and the mechanical things that he's done to make that swing better. No. But what I will say is people are saying his swing changed and his numbers have changed. So obviously, his swing changed. Whatever he's done something very good. Anthony Volpe is playing great. He's obviously already a Gold Glove shortstop. He's already a a very good slugger. Like we all know that. Over 20 home runs in his rookie year as a shortstop, as a 21-year-old shortstop for the New York Yankees, when everybody's hyping him up to be the next Derek Jeter. Anthony Volpe's playing great, and he's doing everything right this year. So I expect him to continue to play like a star this year. I predict Anthony Volpe will make the AL All-Star team this year. I think he'll be a top 5 shortstop. I think he'll join that conversation with the guys like Lindor, Corey Seager, Bo Bichetti, Trey Turner. I think Anthony Volpe joins that conversation this year. That's how good he's been playing. And from what we saw in Double-A out of him, he only had a few Triple-A games, so we really can't take away anything from Triple-A. So in the minors, he was great. We all know when he was with college and who did he play with in college? That Outlighters kid. He did great there too. Volpe's a good player. He's a very good player. I think he's not going to hit 400 all year, obviously, but maybe 300 plus. I mean, he's already got 3 stolen bases. The kid's got wheels. He's got pop. He's a great shortstop defensively. If Volpe plays like this all year, then you got 3 legitimate all-stars in that lineup with him, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge. And then Stanton, I mean, he's already striking out 15 times in just 8 games, but because he's only played in 8 games. So 15 times in 8 games, that's insane. But, I mean, nonetheless, he's hit 3 home runs already. He's got a 770 OPS. So, I mean, he's giving you hit or miss stuff. And that's what you kind of want Stanton to do at this point in his career. But Anthony Volpe, if he can step up and become an all-star in this lineup, I mean, you got 3 guys. And the Yankees, I've said it all year, I'm taking the Yankees to win the World Series. I'm very high on the Yankees this year. I mean, especially once Garrett Cole comes back. Rotation hasn't been too shabby. Who knows what's going to happen, even if Garrett Cole does come back or not. But people are saying he will. People are saying he won't. Who knows? Time will tell. But Anthony Volpe, something's changed with that swing, and the numbers are showing that something did change with that swing. 8-2, first in the AL East. A lot of it is also because of Juan Soto, the new guy. Juan Soto has been going off. He's been going off. And he looks like he's having fun. I mean, you had guys like Saleh saying, "No, this guy's going to be a Met after this year." No, he's not. No, he's not. The Yankees didn't give up prospects to just get 1 year of Juan Soto. He's 25. Aaron Judge is not getting any younger. Garrett Cole is not getting any younger. They're going for it, not just this year, but for the next few. You have the best hitter in baseball in Aaron Judge. He's the best hitter in baseball. I don't care what anybody says. Now, yes, he's off to a slow start as well, but he's the best hitter in baseball. He's on another level. Last year was a down year for him. He had 37 home runs, north of 80 RBIs, over a 260 batting average. That's a down year. It's most years 37 home runs, 260 batting average. That's a career year for most guys. For Aaron Judge, it's a down year. It's insane. And that's after he stubbed his toe and missed all that time. Freak injury. It's not like he tore his ACL or something like that. It wasn't like a muscular injury. It was a bone. So Judge will be fine. And Juan Soto, I mean, he played in 162 games last year. 162. Every single game. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that again this year, nor that he should, because I don't think it's necessarily smart when you got Judge, Stanton, Soto, Rizzo, Volpe, all those guys with that much pop. Give some of the power guys a day off here and there. You don't need to give both of them a day off, or 3 or 4 or 5, but every now and then you can give them a day off. It's not necessarily a bad thing, not in the middle of a hot streak, of course, but I'm not opposed to seeing guys take rest days. I thought Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo could have used some rest days in 2022. Because come the postseason, they look dead. So I'm all about rest days still. Juan Soto, though, he's a beast. He's coming back to the Yankees after this season, especially if they win a World Series. He looks like he's having the time of his life. He looks like he's loving it out there in the Bronx. I mean, home opener, he was like the Yankee chant that they do, the roll call, man. He was loving it. He was loving it. You could just tell it. But yeah, Juan Soto's off to a great start as expected. And then Aaron Judge, I think he'll get things going. He got that first home run out off the belt the other day. He's already got 2. But Stanton, 15 strikeouts in 8 games. That's not too good. He's also got 3 home runs though, and he's got a 770 OPS. So I really don't know, like, if he's gonna hit 25 plus home runs, he's a guy you want in the lineup. But if he's a guy who's gonna be striking out at this rate, do you want him in the lineup? Do you? I mean, if he's swinging for the fences every at bat, he's got to hit 25, 30 plus home runs this year. That's what I'll say about Stanton. But one guy who I always get on about since he left the Mets, Marcus Stroman, he's having a great year again. I mean, he got off to a hot start last year with the Cubs, so I'm not going to predict him to do this all season long. But, I mean, he did have a great year in 2021 with the New York Mets. He had like a 3.06 ERA. We've seen it before. When he was with the Blue Jays, he was an ace. I don't think he's going to be a Cy Young or a Cy Young candidate this year, but I think he's going to have like a sub 3.3 ERA, I'll say. And if he can make you 28 plus starts, I mean, the 28 plus starts now is the new 32 starts. Like I said before, even earlier in the show, 140 innings is the new 200 innings. But Stroman, I mean, so far, 2 stellar starts. He looks like he's loving it in New York too. I mean, that home opener, he was getting the crowd going. But, I mean, yeah, the Yankees kind of botched him a little bit on some errors. I mean, he could clean it up. His second start wasn't phenomenal, but it was good. And his first start was phenomenal. So, Stroman, you got to give him credit. Got to give him credit. 10 Ks, 12 innings. We all know he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's not a power pitcher by any means. He's a ground ball pitcher. And so far, he's doing good. So far, he's doing good. But Carlos Rodon facing the Blue Jays tonight. So far, he's given up 3 earned runs across 9.2 innings. A lot of walks. 5 walks. And that's always been a problem with Rodon. I mean, you look at the history of his career when he's with the Giants. He was, even the 2 years, that 2 years run he had with the Giants where he had 2 sub-3 ERAs, he didn't pitch a lot of innings. He's never pitched over 160 innings in his entire career. So he's not a guy who's going to go out there and necessarily be an innings eater. But if he's going out here and walking guys left and right, that's not a good sign. It's not, especially what he did last year. Now, I think Rodon can turn it around, and I think he has to turn it around. I mean, the guy got $160 million. I mean, we're not, like, that's an ace contract. That's not a number 3, number 4 of the rotation contract. Carlos Rodon was brought to the New York Yankees to be the second ace with Garrett Cole. And Marcus Stroman was brought here to be that middle of the rotation guy. And Marcus Stroman is pitching like that second ace. It's only been 2 starts. But he was brought here to be a middle of the rotation guy. And he's the one who's putting up ace-like numbers. 2 starts only, yes. But still. Rodon, $160 million, brought here to be the second ace. So I don't want to, like, this is not $160 million stats. People always get on Lindor for his contract. I mean, and most of the time it is Yankees fans. I mean, Yankees fans, $160 million, 5 walks across not even 10 innings. I mean, I don't know. Rodon's got to have a good year. He has to have a good year. And I think he will. I do think he will. I mean, last year he didn't have a spring training. Last year he was hurt for the whole entire first half. So I think he will have a good year. I think he's got to have a good start. I think it's got to start tonight, though, against the Blue Jays, division rival. Get it done. And Nestor Cortez, if we're going to go over the whole entire rotation, we might as well hit him a little bit too. He's having a shaky start. But, I mean, his 2022 was fantastic. If you get that Nestor Cortez, this rotation is going to be amazing. But, yeah, his first 2 starts haven't been that well. He's got to step it up, obviously. But I think he could. Let's see what we got in the comments. Yo, what's up, Yugi? How we doing? Yeah, Yankees off to a hot start, 8-2. I think they can continue it too. Like I said, from the beginning, from before the season in spring training, since they got Soto, I'm taking them to win the World Series. How could you not? How could you not? Soto, Judge, with the way Volpe's hitting so far. Before I wrap up on the Yankees, I'll put it up one more time. Anthony Volpe. I don't expect him, obviously, to hit 400 all year. But if he hits above 300, if he steals bases at the rate he's been stealing them so far, we all know he's a Gold Glove defender. They're going to be unstoppable. They're going to be unstoppable. I mean, do we remember 2022, even without Volpe and Soto? Do you remember that? If Volpe becomes an all-star, that's an off-season edition of an all-star, if you think about it. That's an off-season edition right there. Volpe becoming an all-star. Him changing the swing right there. That's an off-season edition. Last year, the guy hit 206. We all know he can do it. And he's doing it. All right, let's talk some New York Knicks, baby. Finally snapped that losing streak against a very good Bucks team with Dame and Giannis both playing too. OG Anunoby, man, he sucked on the offensive end last night. Didn't make a single 3 out of the 5 threes he took. Only scored 7 points. But no, he scored 4 points, actually. OG sucked last night on the offensive end, but he was pretty good on the defensive end, and that's why he's here, to play defense. He fits well with Tom Thibodeau. He needs to play through injuries, though. Jalen Brunson, another fantastic performance. This guy is averaging 28 points per game right now. 28 points all season long. I mean, Carmelo Anthony was a beast. And there was this debate, I remember in the COVID season, and even last year, is Julius Randle comparable to Carmelo Anthony? I could see it a little bit. I still don't think Randle has done quite more than Carmelo just yet. I mean, he's still got a lot of time left, probably. I mean, he's got 2 All-NBA appearances already. He was probably on his way to a 3rd this season if he didn't get hurt. So Julius Randle is scratching the surface of being in that conversation with Melo. I think you think of the greatest Knicks of all time. Obviously Patrick Ewing is right up there. And obviously the modern day Knicks GOAT is Carmelo. But Julius Randle should be in that conversation of I'd say top 5, top 10 Knicks of all time. I'd put him in the top 5. I mean, John Starks is up there. I mean, Knicks haven't had too many superstars, but Jalen Brunson, he's a superstar. He's a superstar. And like I said, the Knicks haven't had too many superstars. I think Carmelo Anthony was the biggest superstar offensive wise. Now Brunson, I think he's taken over and he's doing it more efficiently. He's winning. He already got that playoff series done in his first year with the Knicks. If he gets it done again, if he wins another playoff series and maybe even 2 without Julius Randle, we got to start putting this guy in the conversation as one of the best Knicks of all time. I think if he continues this track, if he continues this ride that he's taking us on, he's going to be in that conversation as the best Knick of all time. Maybe the best New York basketball player of all time. So, I mean, Brunson is doing unthinkable things this year. I don't care what anybody says. No one predicted him being this good. Now, there's people who thought maybe he could be a 20-point per game guy, but there's people who thought he could be an all-star, but nobody predicted this guy being an MVP candidate, and that's what he should be. He should be a top 3, top 5 MVP candidate this year, and if he's not, that's insane. So Jalen Brunson, props to him, man. He's having a great year. Another thing I want to talk about, this guy, Dante DiVincenzo. In his last 30 games, 21 points per game, a little bit over 4 rebounds, a little bit over 3 assists. 3-point percentage has been very good, right over 38. So DiVincenzo, I mean, he was a great pickup. I don't think I expected him to be over 20 points per game, but based off what he's done this year, even in the paint too, like he's not too shabby in the paint. He can get the job done finishing. He's got some moves. So, and obviously off the catch, he's great. He's going to need to do this in the playoffs, especially without Randall. I don't think OG is the second option offensively. I think everybody knows that. I think Dante DiVincenzo is that second option. He's the second option that the Knicks need. So he needs to continue what he's been doing for the Knicks. He needs this. We need this. The Knicks need him. I think Brunson is going to go off. We all know Brunson's going to go off. He's one of the best not one of the best, but going into this playoffs, he's probably a top 5 playoff performer. Look at his stats. Even with the Mavs, he was a beast. So I expect a lot out of Brunson in the playoffs, but I think another guy we got to expect something out is DiVincenzo. We need him. The Knicks need him because they don't have Randall. OG's not going to give you 25, 20 plus per game every single game. We're seeing that right now. He's not an offensive star. He's a defensive star, but not offensive. We need someone to step up consistently. And so far, it has been DiVincenzo. But he needs to continue that if the Knicks want to get some... They want to do damage in the playoffs like Tommy Lugauer of WFAN said. They need somebody like DiVincenzo to step up. And so far, he has been. But, yeah. Can the Knicks capture the 2 seed? That's the last thing I want to talk about with the Knicks. Also, thank God Mitch is back. Him and Hartenstein are a beast. I got to mention them at least once. But, yeah, can they capture the 2 seed? What's their expectations without Randall? I think they can still get into that second round, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on who they match up with. The 2 seed would be nice. Let's go over the standings right now. Right now, we'd be lining up. We're right behind the Magic. Magic got the 3 seed right now, which is insane. They're playing very good this year. But I mean, dude, we've been even the 3-game losing streak we were on. We were playing some good teams. So that Western Conference is tough this year. So right now, we're a game behind the Bucks for that 2 seed. So if we can go 3-1 with the remaining 4 games that we got, I think we're probably going to lose to the Celtics. But if we beat the Celtics, realistically, we can beat the Bulls twice. We can beat the Nets. I think those 3 games are must wins. And the Celtics, it's obviously a must win too. I think these last 4 games are must win because if we get the 2 seed, that would be nice. But if we get the 3 seed, then we wouldn't be in that same bracket as the Celtics. So that's also something we got to think about too. Do the Knicks want the 3 seed so we're not on the same end as the Celtics? Because that's going to be tough. If we have to face the Celtics in the second round, that's a tough second round opponent. I'd rather see them in the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously. So maybe we do want the 3 seed. Who knows? But regardless, if I had to pick one, I want that 3 seed. I don't want the 2 seed. Like I said, I don't want to face those Celtics. So, and it would be nice. We'd probably go up against the Pacers or the Cavs. You know, obviously, Brunson went off against the Cavs last year. So, you know, we need them to step it up. We need someone to step up, and that guy's going to be Dante DiVincenzo, hopefully. 4th in the East right now. Let's get that freaking 3 seed, baby. Let's get that 3 seed. Day off right now, but tomorrow we got to come in hot against the Bulls. All right, let's talk some football. We're just going to talk Jets. Screw the Giants. No Giants today. Just Jets. We're going to be a little bit over an hour soon, so let's get this done. I'm going to go. It's getting dark, man. It's getting dark. All right. Hassan Reddick. How the hell? How in the world? I'm in shock that we got a guy like this. I mean, Mike Williams, that's a great pickup too. Obviously, the offensive line additions are great. But Hassan Reddick's in his freaking prime. And he's joining a great defense. This is big news for the Jets. Big news for the Jets. And we're going to talk about it more in just a sec. We're going to take a quick break and we'll get right into it.
People tell me I don't do my thing till I see them in public and pop out in parking lots. Ain't a dog, but I walk up the block and I bite on your ass. You a bitch and you walk a lot. Lighting up all my homies who spark a lot. You was sipping the type to go spark a thought. God forbid you should go and just get a job. God forbid you should go and just get a job. Damn, I'm back on my bullshit, back on my bullshit. Yeah. And boy, I got full clips, boy, I got full clips. I'm coming with noise, coming with noise. Ay. You bitches can't do this, bitches can't do this. I was born in a place full of suicide. Started rapping, was hated and scrutinized. Started siphoning and then took a scuba dive. Now I'm writing, I'm hoping to stay alive. Not for nothing, it's fucking like Shangri-La. I be bugging on bangers, it's do or die. Not for real, I'm in danger, you not surprised. I'd be dead if I didn't have all my guys. How you switch up on all of your homies? That shit is baloney, I do not condone it. Graduated, I don't need diplomas. All I need is a lime and Corona. Different time and no, I'm in the zone. Every time that I rhyme, it's a home. On some shit, this is a song for the loners. When I black, I just go in a coma. Every time that I got taken down, I just rose from the ground like I'm Derek in pain. Found my calling, there's no time to wait. Till I'm ballin', I gotta make cake. And I'm up 10, but my name ain't Kate. Saving no someone get him a cake. Catching flows like you catching a case. In the lease, so there's no need to chase. People tell me I don't do my thing till I see them in public and pop out in parking lots. Ain't a door, but I walk up the block and I bite on your ass. You a bitch and you bark a lot. Lighting up on my homies who spark a lot. You a simp and the type to go spark a dot. God forbid you should go and just get a job. God forbid you should go and just get a job. Damn, I'm back on my bullshit, back on my bullshit. Ay. And boy, I got full clips, boy, I got full clips. I'm coming with noise, coming with noise. You bitches can't do this, bitches can't do this. Nah.
Woo, let's get back into it. The Jets trade a few picks for Hassan Reddick, former Philadelphia Eagle. 27 sacks across his last 2 seasons. He's durable. He's barely missed any time during his entire career. Now, we all know the Jets, when they get guys that are great, they always get injured. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, perfect example right there. Brett Favre, another guy. So we need a great defense, obviously. We already have a great defense. This is a big pickup. Stephon Diggs also going out of the division. That's huge, especially for a guy like Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. Bills taking step backs. Jets taking step forwards. It's really the Jets and the Miami Dolphins right now. If Rodgers has a good year, we're gonna be set up for a great run. We're gonna be set up for a great run. I'm really excited for this year. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the Jets because, there's really not playing time right now, man. It's the offseason. I can't wait to see this team play on the field, though. I'm hyped for the draft. Maybe we get Brock Bowers. I think that would be the best fit. But so far, look at these offseason additions. Hassan Reddick, Mike Williams, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, John Simpson, Tyrod Taylor. We got a backup. That's one thing that I was saying before the offseason even kicked off. We need a good backup quarterback. Like Aaron Rodgers, I don't expect him to play 17 games next year. I don't. So if he plays like 13, 14, even 15, if Tyrod Taylor's that quarterback, that's okay because we got Garrett Wilson, we got Mike Williams, we got Breece Hall, we got an offensive line now, maybe, if these guys don't get hurt. But it's still great. I mean, Joe Tippmann at center, Elijah Vera Tucker, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, John Simpson. That's really good. I love that offensive line. And if we get a guy like Brock Bowers at number 10 overall, whoo, that offense will be something. And that defense, we all know now with Hassan Reddick, who's got 27 sacks over his last 2 seasons. Like I said before, durable, barely missed any time. The Jets are set up for a great 2024. They need to put it together. So now it's on Robert Saleh. Joe Douglas has given Robert Saleh everything he needs to go on a deep playoff run and maybe even a Super Bowl run. He's given Robert Saleh everything. Everything he wants, he's given them. You lose a guy. What was his name? Oh my God. Oh. He literally went to the Eagles. What's his name? Someone comment. I'm losing track of it now. I'm just so excited about this 2024 that I'm losing his name. Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was a great defensive end for us. You lose a guy like him, you need to replace him. Hassan Reddick. I mean, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald on the backups. I mean, Quentin Williams already a beast. John Franklin Myers. This defense is loaded. C.J. Mosley gets his contract redone. I mean, we're set for a great run. I'm excited. What should we do in the draft? Brock Bowers. There's my answer. Brian Burns to the Giants. Let's wrap it up with the Giants. How impactful will he be? He'll be just like Hassan Reddick. A great pickup. I mean, you look at that defense. If Azeez Ojulari stays healthy, Dexter Lawrence, obviously, he's one of the best defensive linemen in the league already. Bobby Okereke is a beast. Deontay Banks, like I said on numerous podcasts, that guy could be a top cornerback in the NFL. The Giants they're set up too. Maybe for a wild card run. Who knows? Are the Giants done with Daniel Jones? Who knows? I don't know. I think they are. I think we all know they are. If they draft a quarterback, they will. We're going to dive more into the Giants next week. I'm exhausted. I want to go take a peek at this solar eclipse thing, and we're wrapping it up. If you want to check out the Mets and Yankees talk, go to before the show. If you want some Knicks talk, in the middle. And then obviously in the end, we wrapped it up with the football. All right, let's go Mets tonight. We got the first start for Julio Teheran, former Mets killer. So we need that victory. Get that first win of the season against the arch rival, the Atlanta Braves. And the Knicks, we need this win against the Bulls. We need this win. We got Brunson, who's averaging over 28 a game. He's been a beast. So I'd love to see the Knicks get a win. We need a win out. That would be nice. Actually, let's go like 2-2 or 3-1. I want that 3 seed, like I said before. It would be a nicer matchup for us. And then the Yankees, they got Rodon on the mound. So, I mean, like I said before when I was talking about him, $160 million. He was not brought here to be a middle-of-the-rotation guy. He was brought here to be the second ace behind Garrett Cole. And with Garrett Cole out, you need somebody to step up and be the ace. And the $160 million guy, he should be the one to step up. Marcus Stroman is stepping up. Now we need to see Rodon step up, and it starts tonight against the Miami Marlins. All right, that wraps it up. Let's go Mets. Deuces.